Shalom, Ramadan Mubarak. Welcome. My name is Eliana. In this video, I wanted to speak about understanding rejection sensitivity. So I think this is a really important topic to speak on. Many of us suffer with it. So many of us deal with it. And many of us probably have seen or interacted with someone who is extremely sensitive to rejection. So rejection sensitivity is when we have high emotions surrounding what we perceive to be rejection, criticism, or disapproval. And I just want to share like the different like ways that look, So one way in which this looks like is when someone overanalyzes someone's tone and facial expression. So they may look at someone expressing something, and if they perceive that person to be emotional or upset or angry or irritated, frustrated, or anything like that, they would automatically feel rejected. Also, they assume too that people are upset when they're really neutral. They may take like someone like expressing something, they may just be keeping it real, and that person may perceive it as like, oh, I made the person upset and angry. It's like, no, the person is not upset and angry. They're being real. They're being genuine. They're being honest. They're being straightforward. They're not sugarcoating anything, but they're not upset. They're just stating something matter-of-factly, And then another way that it looks like is when one feels like deeply hurt, when there's just mild correction. You may have a difference in opinion from the other person, or a different perspective. I'll say that, because everybody has an opinion. So I don't really care about opinions, but everyone has a different perspective. And sometimes a person may have a deeper level of insight about something, and they may share that with a person. And that person may take it as like that slight correction as I'm being rejected, And if they also deal with pride, you may see women try to defend and explain like, oh no, this is where I'm coming from. This is because of this. They try to like, purport themselves to as someone who knows what they're talking about. And it's like, but it's okay. No one is 100% right all the time. So what I've noticed of someone who deals with sensitivity, or sensitive to rejection, they have a hard time just accepting that sometimes someone may know more than you about a particular thing, and it's fine. You're not 100% right about something. So there's a little bit of pride that's in there too. But that's another way, that it looks. And also they become very defensive very quickly with the slightest thing. For someone who is a little bit more stable, they're not going to necessarily like entertain that. They're just like, such as myself, I just stop talking, because it's like I know what it is. I've dealt with that. I used to like send messages to people, and if they didn't respond right away, I would just delete it, because I felt very uncomfortable by my question just sitting there, and I know the person probably seen it, but they're just not answering it. And I really felt really uncomfortable about, like, I felt very vulnerable. Like, I felt like I was in a vulnerable position. I put a question out there. I was vulnerable, and the person didn't respond. And I had to really like get through that and realize like that's a part of life. Being vulnerable, being open is a part of life. If someone doesn't respond to my messages, I was able to like, look at it or change my perspective and look at that as, that's okay. They probably busy, or it doesn't mean that it's something wrong with me because somebody didn't respond. And I've had people never respond, which I'm just like, okay, all right. And then I've had some people like, they just take some time and then they eventually do respond, and you're like, okay, all right, no big deal, But that's something that I've noticed that many like struggle with, and I was someone who struggled with it really, really bad. I struggle with that really bad. Also, an example of someone who is like extremely sensitive to rejection, they will withdraw. And I gave that example with the message. They would withdraw, or they'll jump ahead of things. So if they feel like they're being rejected by someone, they'll start removing themselves, or saying, like, let's say that they let me give an example. I'm not too good at examples, but let's say you were supposed to pick up a friend from a training that they had, and you come and you pick them up, and they get in the car. You maybe take out some air freshener and spray the car, and they may be like, oh, do I smell? Or they may be like, oh, I'm sorry, am I doing something? They'll assume that their presence is being rejected, when you could be like, I'm just spraying the car because I like this scent and I just bought it, perhaps, and I just want to smell it all day long, but because they're sensitive to rejection, they may be in their head like, oh, this person doesn't want me in the car. This person, I'm doing something wrong. My presence is a problem, So like their mindset is in that sort of like framing, And again, I'm speaking from a perspective of someone who was in that really, really bad, and it did take like some growth on my part, and just some more self-acceptance, and some more self-love as well. Eventually I came to the point where I realized, me being rejected is not a poor reflection on me as a person. And I'm still growing in it, because there's some situations where it's like, there may be actual situations where you really are being rejected, and that's where it's still a little difficult for me, because it's like, okay, that was hurtful, because you actually are being rejected, but that's something that I'm still working through. But I think with understanding rejection sensitivity, there is like I shared, like the different points, like withdrawing, when you sense you don't even know if the person is rejecting you as of yet, and you're already doing things to combat what you think is rejection. That's being like super sensitive to rejection. I think many people struggle with rejection, but when you are super sensitive to it, you are being reactive before, without even, in situations where you may not even be being rejected. So that concludes this video. And if you're someone who struggles with rejection sensitivity, feel free to share in the comments, where you think it comes from, why you place that protective barrier. If you have like grown and overcame it, how were you able to overcome it? And do you know someone who struggles with rejection sensitivity, and how do you try to help them? Like, what are some of the ways that you go about interacting with someone who is struggling with rejection sensitivity? All right. Shalom. Peace.